There are certain conversations I prepare to have when I was younger, when I get to heaven. One of the people I want to meet is Adam. Did your little time with God not tell you that was omniscient? Do you think that God asked you where thou art, not knowing where you were hiding? When you were naked, do you think that God did not know that something left you? Why did you come out to say we are naked? How can you be ashamed before the one that clothed you? Were you not naked before you were clothed? And I'm speaking to someone who is hiding. It's only that aspect that doesn't come to prayer. When you begin to pray, you act like God is ignorant of some areas of your life. I'm saying that if you will follow him, there is a demand to put all on the altar. And tonight is that night. Desectorize your life. The average believer has a sectorized existence. Church life, school life, street life, house life. Put it on the altar. Deal with it. That's how to move forward. Is somebody with me tonight? When I looked into this word called offering as a synonym for the word surrender, one of the writers from whom I read decided to break down into 3 parts, and it interested me. He said, in seasons of surrender, beyond things, a man must understand the strength of what we call our will. You know, in trying to sectorize the soul has been taught to function in how many compartments? 3. It's called the will, it's called the intellect, and emotions. Well, in my studies, I found out it was 6. What we call the will is actually a decision that you have made. But decisions are not hanging. They come from a factory. That factory is what we refer to as your volition. It's also a part of your soul. And then there's the conscious dimension and the subconscious dimension. So when you dream, for example, you come into experiences, both damaging, both advancing. Some are informing or revelatory. When you were asleep, it meant that your soul was still active in subconsciousness. But your subconscious is a tangible dimension of your soul. Because when you wake up, you remember your experiences. Are you with me? But there's also consciousness. That learning Wizkid song that happens in a barber shop is the function of your subconscious. I'm not sure that Isaac, you will take pen and say, what did he say? Dance twice. Say dance twice. But there's a way your soul can be educated. Like if you watch Nollywood, you are in class even though you are laughing, and you find out that you learn better in that mode than when it's Newton Rapson they are teaching you. Abi? That's how strong your subconscious is. You just heard that somebody sat on a bike and the bike man took him away, kidnapped him. And then you find out that when a bike comes, there's an unusual kind of fear that's around you. It's because what you heard educated you subconsciously. And so in the day that we begin to pledge, we need to understand the demarcations and going to find out if there's some piece of furniture in your subconscious too. And bring it to the altar. Because if he's not Lord of all, that's what the church father said to us. That if he's not Lord of all, then he's not Lord at all. I'm trying to emphasize that our will, that's what he said, that the will must be surrendered, including that which creates it. And then in the day of submission, you are supposed to summarize your life. It's like you get an estate valuer that values your life, comes at a value system, which is what we call the essence of your existence. That must also go to the table. If I have time, I'll show you the 9 layers of the submission of the Christ. Because every time God comes with a demand, one of the first things he does is to point us at a model. So in trying to arrive at the surrendered man, we already have a model, and that surrendered man is Christ. It behoves us then to go and look at the life of Christ as regards his reality of surrender. And in about 5 verses, I saw how that he surrendered on 9 different grounds. And I bet you by the time you're on the 3rd one, you want to give up submission, because it will cost you. But that's the price of the fullness of divine usage. We live to the degree that we have died. I was with a beloved brother. I'm not his spiritual father, but he looks up to me like a mentor. And I was sharing with him how that he was being frustrated because Jesus wanted him to be here, do ministry in Nigeria, and it's a startup ministry. So it's hunger today, hunger tomorrow. Blessed with a godly wife who is willing to do the hunger with him, knowing that if God judges them faithful, then a day will come when God will answer them. But the guy is an American citizen. And everybody is asking, people are trying to get a visa. You will walk in without stress. What are you doing? Is something wrong with you? You don't need help. You had a job in the US, a kind of job that everybody wanted to get. And now you're saying God wants you to be doing campus ministry. What will they give you? Unfortunately, the campuses have not even started inviting. But he knows that to be outside the geography of his calling will be to meet the Lord as an unprofitable servant. And I saw the tenacity of the wife to say, I stay with you. Communication with parents have scattered because they think maybe there's a mental issue that he has. You don't need to japa. But he says, it's here. We'll be here. We'll be willing to suffer here, willing to go through the pain here. So they came to me trying to get wisdom, and then I had to tell them, I'm in Ogbomosho, and I'm in Ogbomosho not by my will, because the one that I submitted to allocated me a ground of labor, and I'm here. And if you think this is success, when we discussed in the beginning, he did talk about this building, so he could not have added to the list for success. This is a tool of labor. I will be stupid to build this and now say I've arrived, because he didn't discuss it in the beginning. He spoke about marriage, so I know that milestone. I'm saying this was not an original milestone. I'm still not connected to this building. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm not doing ministry inside it. I'm still not connected to it as an achievement. And I know that you don't believe me when I say it. The look on your faces shows that you cannot believe me. But maybe you have a relationship with God. Ask him. I'm still not connected to this building. I don't think it adds any value to me. Because 2 days after we opened the building, I had to go to town. My wife needed the car. So I took bike to Starlight. And then a month, daddy, on a bike. I said, what? Say you call us a she told me, I said, waiting now. I was coming from Ado-Ekiti. I had a meeting in Lagos. I needed to sleep over in Ibadan. And I got down at Iwo Road. It was a lockdown. I was going towards Bodija. I know what Bodija looks like in the night. So I now put 2 and 2 together. If I take Uber this night, so I just picked the bike. Joseph's mom saw me in the bike. Before she called my name, she was like, She now screamed. So when Joseph now told me, he said his mom said she was shocked. But you see, the purpose was movement. And anything that moved was good. If you brought a chariot, I will enter it. No. Where I stayed on Friday night, because it was about raining in the lorry, and I saw how vehicles were piling up. I took Mara to a point. I said, so I took a bike. When I got there, the security man challenged me at the gate and said, we want to search your bag. Honestly, I'm just not used to that protocol. So the protocol guy in red tie, very starched white shirt and suit, ran. I said, no, sir, you can't talk to him like that. You can't talk to him like that. They said, no, they told us to search any boy that comes here, we search his bag. And I passed for a boy. So the guy now drew them and said, do you know who he is? He was trying to give definitions. I just tapped the shoulder. They are not searching this bag. So went inside. When we now came back, many of those who hosted us came outside and said to pray for them. And when we held hands together and they saw how people rocked, the guy said, oh God, sorry. I said, I'm a normal person. I don't need those courtesies. I'm a regular person. I'm like a toothpaste tube. Normal until you press it. But if you press it, paste will come out. And the truth is, I want to be like this for long. Nothing physical that gives up value. But if you come close and come into my force field, then there will be convictions that Jesus lives here. Because I saw that my master could be touched without consequence, but could also be touched with consequence. Are you with me? Yes. He could be whipped without consequence. He could be slapped without consequence. And it was not a sign of weakness. To him, purpose was greater than the display of power. But in the day of the display of power, he will clear your doubts. Like standing at the tombstone of Lazarus and being specific about who he wanted to come from the world of the dead, because everybody was at alert to come. And that's my own interpretation. You stood in front of one grave and you screamed Lazarus. Why? Comfort will have. It was as though the graves led to themselves underground, Abby. So that if he said comfort, everybody will come to say, is it me? So he had to be specific about who he wanted. And if you know the construct of that grave, even if Lazarus woke up, it was by supernatural means that he came out. Because the only motion Lazarus could carry out was hopping. He was totally bound. And the grave was not a straight grave. It was flat at the top, then went as a hole. So we need to check by what force Lazarus beat gravity to come out of the grave. His comfort aligned all the structures of nature to ensure that the occupant he wanted arrived. That was power. But that same man could be nailed on a cross without consequence. And because he found out that there was an immortal consequence, there was a verdict that was being cooked, he quickly uttered a word to set it aside. Forgive them, for they know not what they are doing. They are just pawns in the midst of an immortal battle. I don't want to be normal, but I want to be normal. I was saying jokingly at RCS that this day that being abnormal increases your financial value. May God give you understanding. Abi? If you appear abnormal, your financial value will go up. I mean, if you are abducted, it can go from 100,000 to 1 billion. So look normal. What we merchandise is not earth. What we merchandise is divine. Because in the day that they had neither silver nor gold, they still had such as they had, and it worked. Thank God for silver and gold. But to have silver and gold and not have such as the church fathers had is bankruptcy, because to them their true wealth was measured in the abundance of such as they had. I'm saying to us that one of the gates unto that kind of abundance is submission Because when God wants to pour into a man, the Bible says he sends the ones who come filled, he sends them away without. But those who come empty, those who have spilled, have brought to the table everything that they have, he fills them. It means every one of us is filled to the degree that we emptied ourselves in a day of submission. We submit our wills, we submit our essences, we submit our capacity. And this sets us up for divine usage. That's what submission does. So when God is seeking for a man,